Not long ago, Tony was back in town and we went up to the Brothers collection. We showed you some of the cars that we talked about that time. One of the cars that we went over, I was really looking forward to. We went over the Reynolds car and learned a great deal, but this was another car that we went over. Tony has a lot of history with this car. This car is what Tony and I believe to be the most optioned 71 HEMI Challenger on the planet ever made. And it used to belong to his friend, Steve Giuliano. This car has it all. Power sunroof, M51. It has HEMI orange, white stripes, white interior, power windows, cassette, gotta have that in there somewhere, right? Rear spoiler, stone guard, moldings, you name it, this car has it on it. And I could not wait to take a look at it because I'm still, even at my level, I am still constantly trying to learn more about the OEM appearance of a particular part. Where Tony has more familiarity with the OEM parts, I need to get that way. And this car, when it was put together with all NOS parts. Okay, so we're talking 71 Challenger RT 426 HEMI 4-speed. Is it a super track pack?
I think so.
I think it was too, a 410. Yeah. Power sunroof?
101.
And what's the code for that?
I don't know, P something.
Oh, is it P something? Did they change it?
I don't know, what is it?
I thought it was M51, but
is
that's okay.
Is it M51? Okay.
No, yeah, listen, we can't expect you to know everything.
I don't have to know the codes. There's books for that.
Okay, why don't you, well, here's your book. Now, the rest of the options that we're seeing on the car, the white longitudinal stripe, the rocker molding.
All the chrome trim package.
The chrome trim, back edge of hood trim, belt moldings.
Like an SC, but not an SC.
And our...
The spring package chrome. Goofy add-on thing, but...
Tony is referring to the Reynolds Cuda, the 71. 426 HEMI 4-speed, loaded, most loaded 71 Cuda on the planet with options. All original car though, all original. He's saying this is the sister to it, the 71 Challenger, although it's been restored. It's loaded with a lot of the options that car has, and even more because of that power sunroof. So you were saying that the 71 HEMI Cuda is the most optioned. This probably isn't far behind it.
For Challengers, yeah.
For a Challenger, right.
I don't think there's too many things that are not optioned on this.
When Tony's referring to all those moldings in it being optioned like an SC, this car is not an SC. They did not build a 1971 Challenger Special Edition. It just happens to have a lot of the options that the 70 would have if it was a real, say it was a JS29 car, a real RT SC Challenger. Somebody went right through there and clicked every one of them, making it just an incredibly rare car.
I believe it's probably the highest option 71 HEMI RT Challenger. And if not the highest option, at least the coolest option one. And a funny story about the car was, I mean, I know it because Steve had bought the car. Well, technically, I had to buy the car because the seller went dark on Steve. He kept trying to get a hold of him and he just wouldn't respond to him. So I had to step in and on paper, I bought the car on Steve's behalf.
Is this a power window car?
Yes. Power windows, cassette deck, obviously shaker.
Air conditioning?
Sure.
Couldn't get air conditioning on a 426 HEMI.
Oh, it's got 5 speakers.
5 speakers, it's mandatory with the R36 radio.
No rear defrost.
It has no rear defroster.
Has the pedal dress. And this has the later buttons, the true 71 buttons. This was a March built car, I believe.
Oh, the button seat, yeah, that's a good example of it. I'll tell you something else. The seat thing that Tony is pointing out there, the 1970 E-bodies, up through about mid-year or so, right in that range, all shared the same type of a hinge assembly for the bucket seats that make it go forward and backward. The backing, the button, they all use that same one. Then with just a subtle change, they went to a one-piece back cover mid-year, depending. Malberg's had, his was built in May of 1971, and it still had the 70s style backing on it. But we have seen many of them with that rolling change that went to the one-piece back, the chrome push button knob on it. This particular car did have that, and I believe this car was a March of 71, so it would make perfect sense for them to be there. Aren't those the original lug nuts?
Do they have little like nipples on the end of them? Steve was meticulous, like fanatical, you could say. And that was his passion, to make the car as correct as possible. I mean, original exhaust system, hardware. I mean, down to, like I mentioned about the lug nuts. The original assembly line lug nuts had a small bump, like a nipple, on the end of the chrome lug nut. They weren't really serviced like that. So you might have to get them from assembly line workers that took stuff out, and they were known as lunch pail parts. And he would run ads a lot of times in Detroit looking for parts because you would find old assembly line workers that just had this stuff laying around. How about the valve stem extensions? They have a little hole in the end, or is it a round ball? That's a round.
It's just a round peg thing, yeah. It's
That's
not.
a later replacement one, yeah. The correct valve stem extension was a black extension, had a white insert at the end of it that was flat and had a little hole at the end of it.
Now, you guys don't realize this, but Tony is, I say not arguably, the most knowledgeable guy on the planet when it comes to parts. That's all he's done since he was old enough to hold a part in his hand. And he did it in the day when it was available. And he knows the minutia.
I believe it says Schrader on it somewhere, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I looked at one. But he would source those and put them on the car because all the cars that had full wheel covers or trim rings used a valve stem extension in that era.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Not amazing that he knows it, amazing that he can remember it. Hell, I've forgotten more than I ever knew.
The later version, or even at the time, the service version valve stem extensions, I've seen them with metal balls instead of the white plastic, and the later ones were white plastic, but they were domed, and they weren't flat on the end, and didn't have that little hole in the end.
So this one doesn't have the assembly line NOS. I got you. Anything unique? You know the car, it belonged to Stephen Giuliano?
I know way before him. It was used in some kind of promotions with Bobby Hull, the hockey player, and then I believe it was originally sold to a Detroit Red Wings player, Gary Unger. I know in the 80s, I believe it was late 80s, Walt Downer from South Jersey, his family owned a Dodge dealership, and he was one of the pioneers in stocking up on the NOS parts to trick stuff. Walt Downer was ahead of the game as far as knowing what parts to collect and store and get them early on when they were still available. I mean, he was doing this stuff in the 80s when a lot of stuff was still available from Chrysler. And he, hoarded the parts for his own cars. And, he had a lot of cool cars throughout the years. He had some HEMI E-body convertibles. But this was his 71 HEMI Challenger RT sunroof car. And because he collected these parts and these cars, he threw everything he had at this car during its restoration. So the parts on this car would be impossible. I don't want to say next to impossible. No, it would be impossible to find today to put on another car again. And then it got sold to the Otis Chandler collection.
Yep.
And
very wealthy investor.
Oh yeah. He owned the LA Times. Oh yeah, amongst another 100 or so newspapers. Yeah.
Did he own Brett Torino's 70 Coronet RT convertible 426 HEMI? I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then through a weird chain of events, Steve had an arrangement to buy this car from Otis Chandler in the early 2000s, and something happened. He couldn't make contact with them, and Steve had me jump into it. So technically, on paper, I bought this car around 2002, and it was really for Steve, though.
Does the Department of Motor Vehicles know about that sale and the Internal Revenue Service?
Yes.
See, now this is a great example of psychopathy. I've talked about this before. You look at Tony when I confront him with, hey, jokingly, well, did the IRS and the DMV know about all this transaction stuff? Look at his face as he consciously answers the question. Subconsciously, he hasn't got a clue because it was 30 years ago. He doesn't remember. He just knows it's the right answer. Look at his face. You can see in his face that he's having an internal struggle with right and wrong. The old as the Bible, right? It's true psychopathy. It's sick. That's the kind of thing I watch every night on Investigation Discovery. Some guy saying, why'd you kill everybody? Well, they was home.
Same amount. I didn't make anything. It was my friend.
Aw, you're such a sweet guy, Tony.
It was for him. It was on his behalf. I wasn't ready to spend that kind of money on a car. A couple years after Steve had bought the Reynolds Cuda, it was when he was trying to buy this the HEMI Challenger sunroof car, the one that I technically ended up buying. And I believe, if memory serves me correct, it was around $175,000. Back then, that was record money paid for a HEMI Challenger hardtop.
Weren't you looking at the Reynolds HEMI Cuda for that kind of dough too? That
was a little bit less, and there was a Survivor.
Yeah, and they're only original ones. Right. This car's been completely restored right as rain, good parts, all that, but still never original.
Again, Challengers are a little behind values for Cuda, where Cudas were. They always are and still are today. I mean, that's probably the best Challenger of the bunch as far as equipment and looks-wise and everything. It's got that 4-speed too. But that wasn't something that was just a slam dunk. One of the reasons why Steve was able to get the car was because a lot of the collectors, at least at that time, they were like real estate investors. They would go by comps, like what's something that last sold for.
Comparable other vehicles, yeah.
Right. Well, there is none.
Right.
So they didn't know
It's a one-of-one.
Right. So
by a
and that's
million.
what Steve always had, the one-of-ones, the super oddballs, like the the
Yeah,
Rapid Transit
gotcha.
cars or what have you. So or extreme survivors.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to bid on it, and Steve bid more with his heart than his wallet because that
Yeah.
was what he liked. So that's how we were able to get the car.
Gotcha.
That was one thing about Steve I always admired about him. And if he liked something because it was that rare and a one-of-one, he would really go out of his way to get it, just to have something that was very different.
So when you step back and look at this car with all of its features and all of its options on it, what would your favorite one be on it? I mean, it's a beautiful color too, right? This is EK2, right?
I don't think EK2 was available in 71. EV2 was. EK2 wasn't in 71, Mr. Code. Vitamin C Go Mango was 69,
Oh,
70,
I see what you're
not
saying. Know what I
71.
was saying? I see what you did there. Yeah.
I know what you're doing.
Okay, I didn't see the production date.
It's a 71.
There's some 71 slipped through with EK2, so I appreciate your interest.
Examples?
Oh, sure. There's the Plymouth lineup that did it. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Look at this. He's having an internal struggle. Look at him. He looks sheepish. His eyes are getting a little bit bigger, kind of getting that little cat that ate the mouse look on his face. Yeah, that's psychopathy. That's sick. And I think you should get some help. How much time you got?
Show me. I mean, you're proof of a car.
Well, Lottie frickin' da. Why don't I
There we
just
go.
call up PPG right now and ask them why they put it on their color chart in 1971? Just keep in mind, I know what I'm talking about. I'm misspeaking on purpose. I'm checking him. That's all I'm doing. I'm checking him at the door, man. I know the EK2 ended in 1970, but if I say it like, hey, I think that's the EK2 on the 71, oh no, that there ain't. It gives him an opportunity, number one, to correct me, which he needs. Again, part of the psychopathy, it makes him feel better. But at the same time, I'm already in on the joke. I already know what's going on with it. This goes back to the timeless adage, the first liar doesn't stand a chance. So when you make a point and you throw out something like the PPG color charts, it's valid. If I use it, oh, that's aftermarket
Nope.
stuff, has nothing to do with the
Gotta
fact.
be, there's difference between book smart and real world smart.
Who bought your lunch? I guess that's the question. So here's another example of NOS part. You said this thing's loaded with NOS
Oh my
part.
God, Walt Downer.
Like
Yeah.
the guy in the world that did it, that was him.
Yeah.
So these are NOS pins. So you can see here it's a black phosphate black washer, not a zinc. So that means the little star kind of extruded lock washer is probably on the bottom
Yeah.
of it. Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
And the 426 Hemi emblems that go on a Challenger are different from a shaker than they are to the rally hood.
And I thought that that was the same on a CUDA.
No.
So the CUDA is the same emblem.
Hold on. The Hemi CUDA that came on the CUDA.
The HEMI CUDA,
Come on.
you see that move there? You see that, right? I'm well aware that the 1970, 1971 CUDA with the 426 HEMI was never available with the bulge hood, J54. Oftentimes it's on the LA cars listed there, but it's not supposed to exist. See, I speak because I'm trying to keep the people at home from falling asleep.
So you misspeak, you mean?
I'd rather misspeak and know they're awake than bore them to death with finite details. Am I the killer in Scream? Did I kill Billy Madison?
Is that how you deflect from an inaccuracy?
Yeah, I throw into movie references, and after a while, you give up.
That's true.
Fender tags, different than the CUDA over there, but this car's been restored.
I know, and without seeing it how it was originally, you could see that the screw hole's missing
I
for this
saw.
other tag.
So that means
Now,
the apron could have been replaced.
could have been replaced, or maybe just never got punched out. Again, hard to tell.
Folks, you were talking about possibly the rarest car in the world for a 71 Challenger. Take 1 minute and look at that fender tag. The options this car has, so many that it had to go on 2 fender tags. Now the third one's, of course, the HEMI fender tag.
As far as equipment on the car, I mean, this has eyeballs. I mean, it's bright orange, white top, so that just pops on it. But it's got the spoiler front and rear, power windows, a cassette deck, dictaphone. Of course, rally gauges are standard, 4-speed console. It has all the external molding package, has that spring chrome on the front, that big wide stuff on the front, but has the smaller trim on the belt molding and behind the hood like the SE cars had. I mean, it's just loaded, and it's just a beautiful car. The hood latch mechanism, that's all super trick. Impossible
I mean, you
to
can
find
see it,
stuff.
right? Yeah, no way would you ever duplicate that thing today.
You'd have to disassemble it and then get the finishes right and then reassemble it the way the factory did.
And is that the same release or similar release to 71 CUDA?
No.
Because
It
this
does
thing,
the same job.
Yeah, but it's a different shape out here,
Very.
right? Yeah.
because that comes above the grill where the cooler
Right.
comes into the grill. But here's something that, you know, Steve always had me look at the cars
For
when he was doing
correctness.
them for correctness, and we'd put our heads
Should be
together.
black, yeah.
And I don't know why I never picked up on this, but at the time, but that should be black.
That should, yeah.
Steve is so meticulous, and he'd have myself and some other people that he felt knew a lot about the cars look at him and say, hey, what's wrong? What am I missing? Is everything right here? Maybe something changed in the time since he sold it, but the latch tray behind the grill is always supposed to be black, and this is painted body color. And I just really sort of have to go back, look at some old pictures and see if it was done like that back then, and I just couldn't see the forest through the trees. I'm looking at markings on hardware, but missed a big part like that right in front of my face.
But it looks like an NOS latch. I mean, so much NOS.
Look at the
NOS
colors on the
radiator
washers
support.
in the front. See, remember I showed you before?
Oh yeah, it's got that
Reddish
reddish,
hue to them, yeah.
which match this part of the latch.
The hood latch assembly is a multi-part item, and the finishes on it all vary. It's not like they just had a latch and it got dipped into a phosphate or a CAD coat or anything like that. It's multiple platings on multiple pieces with multiple hues, and it would be impossible to duplicate that today unless you were manufacturing all the parts new and had the same machinery and rivets and tooling to put it together. And stuff like that just can't be done.
But everything else underneath here is probably NOS.
Yeah, like the wiper motor you could see is, you know.
And the yellow running down daub on the master cylinder.
Or orange for people that aren't colorblind. That's almost orange like the car, honestly.
That's not orange, that's yellow.
No, but it's almost the same color as the car. Somebody, tell them.
Yeah, somebody tell me. Please tell me what I don't already know. I know I'm colorblind, okay? I was colorblind at birth. I'm a miracle. I can't see colors. I have no idea how I do what I do. But I shouldn't be bullied over it, you know, picking on me and making fun of me. You know, like something's wrong with me, like I'm sick. Like, I remember him, man, I just saw him the other day and he was fine. No, I'm still fine. I'm just the same colorblind I was when I came out of the womb. Okay, it's orange, fine. You know what? I'd still like to have ratings after this
listen
episode.
to me. What color is the mark on the power steering
Oh,
column?
here we go. Name that color.
I'm just, you know, I love Mark, and I know he's colorblind, and I'm not trying to make fun or pick on that, but the dot on the power brake booster was orange. It was almost the same color as the car. If you know the car is orange, how would you not know that the dot's orange?
Oh yeah, that's not making fun of somebody by any stretch of the imagination. Now they have doctors that can expound on this, and I may have to actually have one on the show to explain this to him, and maybe you people out there who seem to think there's something wrong with me because I can't see colors. It's so funny. He's got things wrong with him that he can't help it. I don't point them out to him, right? You know why? Because I take the high road. He goes low, I go high.
Mark thought it was yellow. I mean, I know yellow's not terribly far from orange, but this is an orange dot next to an orange car. How could you confuse it?
Picking on somebody is bullying, and now there's laws. You can't make somebody push a penny around a toilet seat with their nose in 9th grade because you didn't like that they had a tumor in their foot. That's bullying, that's sick, and there should be something done about it before it's too late.
What color?
Orangish yellow.
That's yellow.
Okay. Do you think this is an NOS radiator or just well detailed? Could be either, right?
Could be either. I've
He was
had
getting
NOS
them.
radiators, you know.
So what's the SPD on this car?
307.
307.
308, I'm
and
sorry.
this looks like a first week of October, a 69 alternator.
The 71 HEMI parts are way all over the board. You've seen that with some of the cars as far as engine assembly dates.
Oh yeah, no. On HEMI cars, we've seen the assembly date of a component or the casting date of a component precede the scheduled production date of the car by even up to a year or longer. And we think that that's probably because they knew that the HEMI cars were very limited. An alternator is an alternator. If it's the same one in a 70 and the same one in 71, they can use those casting dates. Now you would want to turn that alternator over and see when it was actually assembled. That appears on the bottom of it. Would be interesting to see. But coming through and trying to time code a HEMI car is not as easy as you think.
They didn't make that many of them, so I think they made a lot of the parts early on, but then they didn't go in the cars till later.
And the 407, you want to tell everybody what the 407 is?
It's the last 3 digits of the engine assembly number.
Yeah. And on the HEMIs, they didn't put the transmission one over here, did they? I know they did it on the wedge engines, but I don't think they did it on the HEMI engine.
It's possible the 407,
Calls out a 4-speed
Right.
or a manual all by itself where the
Yeah.
other ones could service both. It's possible. Okay, so a great example would be just take that same car, put it out in the middle of a field, been sitting there for 50 years, fender tag's gone, dash is gone. You know it's a HEMI car because it's got all the markings on it that a HEMI car would have. But you'd like to know what the scheduled production date is. Not close, but exactly. That's really hard to do. But with a car, normally speaking, that say wasn't a HEMI car, you could go up to the assembly date on the wiper motor, on the alternator. You could look at things that were put together for the car. Even the assembly date on the engine would be really close to the scheduled production date, sometimes a month ahead, but rarely ever a year ahead. Here we've got an alternator that's got a 69 casting date for a car that was built in March of 71. Now this has an inspector tag, this is the second one I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
And they hung that one down, but like I say, you can't really trust everything on this because it's been
restored.
Restored, right.
Unless you had pictures of it before.
But nicely restored, don't get me wrong.
Well, it's like some of the things you'd just say that 71 CUDA was left outside and needed to be restored. Are you going to redo the drip on the tail panel? Are you going to do the undercoating shooting all over the place?
The only reason that works is it started life that way. Otherwise, I've restored it and my hands are on it. So if you would have had a run on your Daytona, you could document it. Would you have wanted, Mike?
Probably not.
You'd probably want the right, because it's hard to explain on a restored car.
You're explaining it the whole time.
Yeah,
you know?
it's all you're doing is, oh, cheap paint job. No, I did that on purpose. Sure you did. Hello ghouls, Mark Warman here, the Ice Tray from Graveyard Carz. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. We have fantastic stuff coming up, and some of it you've never seen before. I gotta go insult people. Hey Alice!